Today on Community Connections, I'm honored to have Coach King Rice of the Monmouth University basketball team. Coach Rice, thank you for coming over.
It's great to be here.
Now, I did a couple minutes of research when I knew you were coming on. A lot of it I already knew, but the thing that always, from the day you were hired, you were a point guard for Dean Smith.
Yes, I was. I feel like I was the luckiest kid in the world when North Carolina sent me my first letter when I was a junior in high school. I drove around town showing it to everybody. North Carolina was always a dream. I wasn't sure if they'd ever come to Binghamton to recruit me, but
Binghamton, New York.
Yes, sir. But I was very fortunate that Dean Smith picked me as his point guard, and I had a great 4 years being able to play for him.
You guys went to the Final Four?
Yes, my senior year, we played in the Final Four. We lost to Kansas in the semifinals, and everybody talks about that year, but my freshman year, we were Elite Eight. My sophomore year, Sweet 16. My junior year, Sweet 16, and then Final Four. So all of the years, and 2 ACC regular season championships and 2 ACC tournament championships.
Now, the college basketball landscape with teams going to different leagues has changed, but North Carolina, Duke, ACC, particularly in that era, Georgia Tech, that was the king of basketball for a while.
Well, at that time, I think right there, late 80s, early 90s, I think early 80s, the Big East definitely had a stranglehold on it. And I think that's right around when the ACC started picking up steam. And then by the time I got there in 87 to 91, I think the ACC was the top league. But basketball all around the country is really, really good. Once again, I was fortunate one to be able to play in the ACC.
Now, the legacy of coaches who played for Coach Smith is impressive. It goes NBA, coaches, management, college coaches. It's a hall of fame almost in and of itself. What does it feel to be part of that?
I just, every day, I'm thankful for a lot of different reasons, but to have the opportunity to go to the University of North Carolina and play under Dean Smith and let him be a father figure for you, all of us were lucky. But Coach definitely taught you how to grow up. He taught you how to be responsible. He taught you how to be a great basketball player. But most importantly, it was about being a good person and doing what you were supposed to do and doing what you said you would do. So I'm just one of the guys that gets to go out and trumpet all the things we learned from him. And like I said, I have some great brothers, and Michael Jordan and James Worthy, Pat Sullivan. There's so many guys that are public people, but there's so many guys that aren't public people that are doctors and lawyers and teachers and just good fathers. So Coach Smith, I feel like, was the best college coach, and I was fortunate that I got to be with him. Now,
you told me earlier, you model what you do here on what you learned from him and at North Carolina. What does that mean?
Well, first off, academics comes first. One of my first things when I got to Monmouth, I talked to Dr. McNeil, and I wanted to meet the deans, and I wanted to meet the professors at Monmouth just to get a feel for how it was here. And I had an opportunity to sit down with the deans and just let them know what the deans do and what that side of campus does is more important than being the basketball coach. But a lot of times the basketball coach or the football coach goes out and represents the school and gets the microphone to talk about the university. So I wanted the deans to tell me what I should be saying about the university, and just to let them know they have a person as a basketball coach that understood academics come first, and that I wanted to be a part of their team. I wanted to be a part of the dean's team so I could lead my kids and have them represent Monmouth University the right way.
Now, you're at the point, this is your 6th year as a coach? So every kid who's playing for you now, you recruited?
Yes.
All of them going to graduate?
Yes. This is starting my 6th year. Up and through my 5th year, I have 15 graduates. We also have a couple of kids that transferred out. Now they're graduates also. So I have about 19 or 20 since I've been the head coach. All of my guys here graduate. At the end of this year, I have 6 seniors. We will have 21 graduates from
All of them are going to graduate.
All of them are going to graduate this, at least by the summer. One might need the summer, but he told me yesterday he's not going to need the summer.
Now, are they on campus pretty much year-round?
Yes.
Is that
college
part of the
basketball,
academic program too?
That's how we're getting ahead. Summer school is what you need to go to, and now we can work with our players in the summer. So work with them on the court. So now most of the time the kids come in before their freshman year and take a class just to get situated, so they get ahead of the curve before college even starts. And then every summer they can take 2 classes to get ahead or to catch back up, whichever way each student is. But most of the time we get ahead in the summer. That's why everybody's graduating on time.
Now, you had an idea that you were going to be pretty good last year. Did you have an idea it would be, I mean, you guys were a media sensation with the bench.
Well, it ended up being a lot of fun with the bench. But I think what sometimes when people talk about the bench, they forget that our team was really, really good. And the bench brought national attention to a basketball team that was very good. So I think the team winning those games early gave us the opportunity to have a fun bench also.
How much of that was spontaneous? Because I saw the highlights of the UCLA game where you went to Pauley Pavilion and you beat them. We were saying before, it's a legendary location for college basketball. What were your kids like when they saw
what
was on there?
We tried to go out there early just so they could see the arena and get their nerves out. And when we won that game, our kids ran out on the court. Everybody was so excited. Dr. McNeil was excited. But I think people were their fans were in shock. I don't think they could believe that Monmouth beat UCLA. I was happy for my kids. I was happy for Dr. McNeil. And then I'm a basketball coach, so you go right into the next game, and we had USC, and I knew USC was going to be good. But a funny story from the UCLA win, I went outside just to catch my breath, and one of their fans came up, and he didn't realize I was the coach of Monmouth. And he said, "Can you believe we lost to that terrible Monmouth team?" And I was like, "Well, I thought they played pretty well." And he was like, "That should never happen." And I never told him I was the coach. I just let him be mad for those few minutes.
But UCLA, when you were a kid, UCLA their era had ended, but they were still, John Wooden was still alive. The aura of UCLA basketball and 10 national championships was pretty good. But then you went and you took it to Notre Dame and Georgetown, both theoretically bigger programs than Monmouth.
Well, I had a staff that when we got here, we said we were going to play high major programs. And everybody thought, what is he doing? And then my first year, we lost by an average of 36. All the way through.
You remember that?
I remember. And fans, I understood why they were saying, why is he doing this? And each year, I thought it was the right thing to do. And then my 4th year, when we played West Virginia to a 9-point game where we were winning 3/4 of the game, and then bad coaching kicked in on my part, and then they took over the game, and they beat us. But we only lost by 9, and they were one of the best teams in the country. And then we lost by about 11 at SMU. We lost to Maryland by 3, who was one of the top teams in the country. So then I knew we had been doing the right things. So when we walked into UCLA and got the win, you don't go in thinking you're definitely going to win at UCLA, but I thought we had a chance because they had some young players. And once you win that game, kids are amazing. They start believing more and believing in each other. And I think we tapped into something with sharing the ball, playing the right way, being for each other, not caring who gets the credit. And our kids believed in that, and we had a lot of success.
You know what, Coach, I always hear preach about playing the right way is another North Carolina guy. Larry Brown always talks about you got to play the right way.
Yes, Coach Brown. I remember I was pulling for the Lakers for a 4-peat when Coach Brown in Detroit ended up beating Shaq and the Lakers, and Rick Fox, my teammate from college, was on that team. And Coach Brown just kept saying, play the right way, play the right way. And Coach Brown is dear to my heart. He has helped my life tremendously. I'm actually going to ask him to come and watch our team a little bit this year and maybe help me with some things. But playing the right way, doing things the right way, and also not caring who gets the credit is definitely a North Carolina thing, and we talk about that all the time.
You've got, what kind of games do you have? The same challenging schedule this year?
I think it might even be a little bit tougher. The good part is we have more home games because along with those tough games last year, we only had one actual home game in the non-conference against Wagner. And this year, our big games, all of them are big, but our high major games are North Carolina.
At North Carolina.
At North Carolina, at Syracuse, at South Carolina, and at at Memphis. Our home games, Princeton's here, Cornell's here, Army's here, Drexel's here.
Army beat you last year.
Yes, they
that
did.
That shouldn't have happened.
No, Army was better than people think, though. Our Army has 5 guys representing our country right now that 3 of them got injured, and then they lost some games, and then when they came back, Army was really, really good. I messed that game up also, but that was one that set us back. That's the one they talk about. But I think if people truly looked when we lost to our Army, they were saying their coach had done the best job since Coach K. So they beat us.
Mentioning Coach K, if I mention Duke to you, what kind of reaction do I get?
Well, my son plays at St. Anthony's for Bobby Hurley Sr., for Mr. Hurley. So I think I'm over the madness that I had towards Duke. I'm always a Carolina fan, but I respect what the Duke program has done. I wouldn't have been able to say that 20 years ago, but I've grown.
Who did Duke have when you played against them?
When I played against them, they had Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley. That was some of their better teams.
Oh, you played against them when
Danny
they were...
Ferry. I played against Billy King. I played, some great Duke teams. I did miss Johnny Dawkins and Tommy Amaker. But I'm friends with
They're a little
both.
older than you.
They're a little bit older. I am friends with them now, though, and just a lot of respect for their program because they do good basketball also.
#1 rivalry in college basketball, Duke, North Carolina?
I was just looking at an article, and they're trying to say maybe Kentucky, Louisville is caught up. It's not even close. It's not even close. That's a great one, too, but it's not the same as Carolina Duke.
I don't want to ask you about who you're out there recruiting, even last year, the kids who are coming here, but what's it like now after last year? You walk into a living room, you're from Monmouth University. Different?
Well, a little bit. People recognize, people know who we are now, but it's still a tough thing because we're trying to get talented young men, and it's hard. It's a hard job recruiting. And you just have to do it every single day. It's like shaving. If you don't do it every day, people can tell. And we're getting in homes, but it's a tough fight trying to get kids to come to college.
College period or a particular college?
No, just in general. Even it's hard for North Carolina to get players. It's hard for Duke to get players because when you're recruiting at Duke, people think, oh, you get any kid you want. Well, no, you have to beat North Carolina.
Right.
And you have to beat Cal at Kentucky, and you have to beat Rick Pitino. You have to beat UCLA. So even at Duke, it's hard to get the kids, even at Carolina. And then when you trickle down to a little bit different levels, we want the kids that can play in a bigger league, and those kids want to play in a bigger league. Okay. So you just try to find the right kids for you.
Now you guys are in a tough conference. It was the Northeast Conference, if I remember right, when you got here. Now it's the MAC. But Iona is very good. Canisius is pretty good. You've got the Western New York road trip. Manhattan, I'm not going to remember all of them. But
no, the MAC.
MAC is tough basketball.
The MAC was a big step up for us. I'm so glad that our school wanted that type of basketball. Rich Enzer has done a tremendous job with this league for 35 years.
Is he the league commissioner?
Yes, he's the commissioner. Iona's great. Manhattan won it 2 times in a row before that. I think one of our rivalries in New Jersey is going to keep getting better against St. Peter's. John Dunn does a tremendous job at St. Peter's in some tough circumstances. Kevin Baggett at Ryder is a tremendous coach, and he and I are great friends, and we have a little competitive thing going on in recruiting and games. And then you said Canisius, and Niagara's on the uptick. Fairfield is Sidney Johnson was at Princeton for a long time, and Quinnipiac's really, really good. And then Marist hired a new coach a couple years ago, Mike Maker, who is at a D3 school out in Massachusetts who won national championships. So
Okay.
he's going to have Marist going strong here soon. And then, of course, our program. I feel like our program's in a great spot. We have great leadership in Dr. McNeil and President Brown, so we're in a good place here at Monmouth.
All right, we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back for the second half of the show.
Your seat cushion can be used to grant wishes.
Who said that? Hello?
Really can, you know.
You talking to me?
Sure am. Because the airline miles you earn and donate to Make-A-Wish can help send thousands of kids on their wish trips. So donate to Make-A-Wish today.
You really should, you know. You really should.
And give wishes wings, because wishes work wonders.
All right, we're back with the second half of Community Connections with Coach King Rice. You were saying it's hard to get a kid on campus. You're out there recruiting. You're competing with some big names, bigger names than Monmouth, to get a kid. But once they see the university, what kind of reaction do you get? Because there aren't many prettier campuses than Monmouth anywhere.
Well, my staff and I really feel like when we get people on campus, we're about 90% where we win. And part of that is because people don't know about our campus, how beautiful it is. So when they come, they're not expecting it to be as beautiful as it is. And then they see it and they're like, wow. And then I think part of it is a long time ago, people came by and then they said Monmouth is a certain way and they just haven't been back. So I think local people should come and see the improvements on campus. I've been at North Carolina, I've been at Vanderbilt, I've been at Providence College, I've been at a lot of places. And our campus is as nice as any one of those. And those are all beautiful, well-known campuses. And I would put our campus up against any of them.
Were you the coach when the MAC opened, or does that predate you by just a couple of years?
A couple of years, yes.
Now, your last two teams, particularly last year, you started to pack the place.
Well, that was a lot of fun. That was one of the things that I truly wanted to do for our program. When I got here, we used to go to, my team and my staff would go to every athletics thing on campus. If it was baseball, football, soccer, whatever it was, our whole team went with the thoughts of maybe the other athletes would return the favor. They've done that, and then we had about 1,500 fans that would come every game. In the last 2 years, because our marketing department has been out more, and also our team got better, that now we're having sellouts. We sold the most season tickets last year, and now once again we beat that record coming up for this season. So I'm looking forward to it. Our team is in a great place. Our program is in a great place. So I'm ready for the MAC to be filled up again.
How hard is it now that you're a better known and highly competitive mid-major, which to somebody who's not a big sports fan, smaller school, not Big Ten, well, the Big East is not the Big East.
But they won the national championship last year.
Good point. Not Big Eight, you know. But you beat some of those schools last year. You're going to get them on campus. You mentioned some of the schools that are playing. How many are coming here?
None of them are coming here this year.
Will they schedule a home and home with you?
Some people are starting to talk about it. It was very good getting the Memphis game. Tubby Smith is a friend of ours. And our RPI is really, really good, and that's just how they rate teams in college basketball. And Memphis needs good RPI games. So right now, that's how you get the better,
but you're going
the
to
bigger
Memphis.
schools. But we're going to Memphis. I did mention to Coach Williams at Carolina that I would like for him to maybe come up this way. If he's coming this way to play a game, maybe play us, and we're at least speaking about it.
I mean,
here
North
at
Carolina coming to play here.
I'm working on that one. I'm working.
If he tells you Sunday morning 7 o'clock, you'll play Sunday morning 7 o'clock.
We'll play Sunday morning at 7 o'clock. Yes, we will.
And your kids will be ready.
And we will be ready. But Jay Wright is a friend of mine, and Jay has been up here a bunch of times in the past. And I think we'll get that one going again in a couple of years.
Jay Wright is which?
Villanova.
Okay.
And that
you played them. And if you play them this time, you might have more Monmouth fans than Villanova.
Well, we
fans.
might, but last time we played them, it was mainly a Villanova-friendly crowd.
Right.
But
Can't let that happen again.
Anytime you get a high major program like Villanova, and a coach like Jay Wright, who's one of the best coaches in the country, to say that he will come to your building and play,
It's a big deal.
it's a really big deal, and we have to make sure we understand that he's being nice by doing that, because most of the time you're not going to win on their court. The chance you have of beating them really goes up on your own court. So for them to come in here is really taking a chance, but usually you're friends with the coach to get them to take that chance.
Now, you've mentioned a lot of names of basketball coaches, guys who are, you know all these guys, and they are friends of yours, right?
Well, a lot of them tried to recruit me when I was a kid. You know, John Calipari is a friend of mine because I have about 1 million letters from John Calipari.
Where was he then?
He was at Pittsburgh.
Okay.
But a lot, you know, basketball community is small.
Pitt was before you masked for him?
Yes,
After?
Pitt, he was an assistant at Pitt. So
Okay.
he was the young guy that was really
he
going
was hustling when
after
he won.
players. Yes, he was. And Cal, that's why he's one of the best recruiters. He's always been great at it.
Right.
Coach Boeheim's a friend of mine because he recruited me, and then Rick Callahan's on my staff, and Rick worked for him for so long. You know, Mark Turgeon, Larry Brown, those guys are Carolina background guys. So I have a lot of friends, and then guys that I played against like Bobby Hurley, Danny Hurley, Sean Miller's one of the best young basketball coaches in the country.
Arizona.
At Arizona, and he's another one that we've been talking about maybe being able to get a game and
Out there?
Out there. Not many people are going to come in your building, but we'll
Right.
work on Pittsburgh.
But when
Pittsburgh.
you go now, you go to kids. I mean, there's a bunch of schools in New Jersey that play a high schools I'm talking about, that play a semi-national schedule. You know, the Roselle Catholics, the St. Andrews, the Patricks. They're traveling the country to play basketball. You go in there and say, well, we're going to play Arizona. We're going to play at North Carolina. Their eyes light up. They're
Some
thinking,
kids.
that challenge doesn't get them.
Nah, the challenge gets them, but they could go to other schools that play those schools too. So
Okay.
it just, you know, for us now that we're winning them, it's a better deal when we go in and we tell kids we're playing this type of schedule, because then it's not just us receiving a check from those schools. We do receive a check, but now our team is in position that maybe we'll win the game, and that's a much better feeling than going and receiving a check and taking a beating.
What are you looking forward to this year? You didn't you graduated this, and I don't remember his name. He was the 6 foot.
Deion Jones.
He
Deion
broke
Jones.
his hand
Yeah.
late in the season. I was in the Manhattan game. Is he your only kid who graduated?
He's our only graduate, and I'm so excited for this team because the kids, basically our whole team stayed the whole summer. After the GW game, George Washington, when we lost, I felt like we got beat by a bigger, stronger team. And as well as we played last year, we needed to have a great summer in the weight room. So when you see our kids this year, we're going to be a much bigger, stronger, more physical team. We have 6 seniors, so you should see an experienced team with guys being willing to share the ball. Justin's one of the best players. Jalon, Micah, our inside guys are much better, much more prepared now to be able to maybe carry our team in some games.
You had some signs last year. You had a big team.
No, and we do. We have 5 men, 4 centers that are over 6'10". Our next position at the power forward position, we have 6'8" and 6'9". So we are a very, very long athletic team that's experienced, that is very hungry. We had a lot of success, but we did not win the championship. We won the regular season championship.
Frustrating game against Iona.
And Iona's good, but I feel like we should have won that game. I should have come up with a better play at the end. We should have kept our cool and not gotten a technical. And we were starting to get control of that game, and maybe our inexperience of a championship game might have hurt us a little bit. But now we have that experience, so I'm looking for us to be going in as the hungriest team in the league.
Are your kids a little? I'm assuming that when they didn't make the tournament, that became their goal this year.
Yes.
How was that Sunday afternoon here?
That was one of my worst days as a coach. There were so many things wrong with it, with us not making it being the main thing. But the NCAA that day, CBS or somebody leaked it early.
Right.
So kids heard. My team left the room. You know, it just was a bad experience. I think they tried to make it for TV, and they ruined the experience for our kids. And hopefully they fix it. And then there's a lot of back talking after the fact. But it was a very disappointing day because we thought we should have been in, and then to find out early and then have to sit through it, hoping that the leak was wrong, was terrible for everybody.
Now, Jay Bilas was very out front. You should have made it. Make you feel any better?
Well, Jay is a friend of mine also, another Duke guy, and he had our game against Iona, and before the game, he said, "King, I bet my life on it. Win or lose, you're in." And I said, "Whoa, Jay, don't do that. We like you, man." And I'm glad he didn't bet his life because you never know. But you can't cry over spilled milk. After it happened, some people thought I should have complained. Some people thought I should have did what I did. I didn't want to embarrass our school. I was frustrated. I was mad. I thought we were the school that got dealt the worst hand. Mm-hmm. And then after you found out about St. Bonaventure and St. Mary's and some of the other schools, the deal that they had, St. Bonaventure won the Atlantic 10. The Atlantic 10 is a much bigger league than our league, and they did not get in. So for me to go, they won the regular season. For me to go public and complain would have been the worst thing. And I'm just a guy, we didn't win. You don't cry, you don't set that example for kids. You go back to the drawing board, and we're coming after it. We're coming after the regular season, and then we're coming after the championship for Monday night. We're not apologizing for it. That's the goal.
Your kids, they're from all over the country. I mean, you got a kid who transferred here from Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. He recruited a high school buddy of his.
Well, the high school buddy actually recruited him.
Okay.
Once the high school buddy from Texas came, Micah came, and that was through relationships. Their coach I know very, very well. I had missed on players from his school before. I had always missed, but we remained friends, and we handled it when we missed. And he told us about Micah, and we finally won one. And then we got Jelon also.
How do you had no real New Jersey connection when you came here? Is that accurate? You were Binghamton to North Carolina, and then about 10 years in Vanderbilt?
You know people in Jersey, you recruit the Jersey area, but I had no ties to New Jersey.
How do you like living here?
I really like living here. I think people have been tremendous to me and my family, especially the Monmouth community. How can you not like being by the beach?
You told me Dr. McNeil has been extremely supportive.
Dr. McNeil has been, I told her today, son, she takes care of me. She gave me the job. She gave me 2 renewed contracts. She allows me, I'm not, like people that's what everybody's saying in recruiting, King's leaving, and I want to be the coach at Monmouth. I get to do my job the way I think it should be done, and Dr. McNeil gives me that room to do that, and that's the best thing for me. I get to do it with my kids how she believes in me, so she lets me do it how I need to do it, and I'm lucky that I get to represent her.
Well, that's a great way to end the interview. Thank you very much for coming over.
Well, thank you, Adam. This has been great.
Thank you.